Hey Year 5! I do apologise, the end of yesterday's video kind of got cut short. I literally had about a paragraph left, so I thought rather than film it all again, because I'm not very good at editing, I would just read the end of that for you today. So once I've read that little bit, we've got chapter 37 and chapter 38 today to read. Oh, blimey, 39 is a short chapter, it's less than a page. But that will be for next week. So, happy Friday. I hope you've had a good week. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend as well. We're getting towards the end of the book, actually. So that will be interesting. I'll have to see what we have a little look at a book we could maybe move on to after this. And yeah, right, let's get reading. Okay, the end of chapter 36 was when Bradley couldn't decide what to give as a gift when he went to the birthday party. And Carla had said, if you like it, then she probably will too. Give her a gift from the heart. What about a shower curtain? He asked. If it comes from the heart, said Carla. He smiled. When it was time for him to return to class, Carla said, I enjoyed our visit very much. Thank you for sharing so much with me. The pleasure was mine, he replied. He'd been waiting to say that. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 36. And now we'll start today's reading of chapter 37. The meeting between Carla Davis and the Concerned Parents Organisation was held after school in room 8, a post-grade classroom. A second grade classroom, sorry. Carla sat in a chair that was too small for her and faced the parents. She crossed her ankles and folded her hands on her lap. The 5 members of the school board sat behind her. The principal sat next to her at the teacher's desk. Bradley's mother wasn't there. She was out with Bradley, shopping for Colleen's birthday present. Since she didn't have any complaints, she didn't come to the meeting. The only parents who came were those who had complaints. I'd like to know what we need the counsellor for, asked her father. Kids have enough counselling. What they need is more discipline. If they're bad, they should be punished. The other parents clapped their hands. We need to get back to basics, said a woman. Reading, writing and arithmetic, and of course, computers. Her husband had a chart that showed if the counsellor was fired, there'd be enough money to put a computer in every classroom. Everyone got very excited about that idea. They all loved computers. No one is being fired, said the principal. The purpose of this meeting is to give you a chance to ask Miss Davis questions. She told my son it was good to fail, shouted the woman standing under a poster of an octopus. She told him grades didn't matter. I never said it was good to fail, Carla calmly replied. I simply tried to help him relax. Children learn better when they're not under pressure. They do better when they can enjoy school. My son doesn't go to a school to have a good time, said the woman. He has to get good grades so he can get into college. The principal reminded the parents that Miss Davis wouldn't see any of their children without their permission. But why should our tax dollars pay for her to counsel other people's children? One of the mothers complained. Several other parents agreed. The woman with red hair stood up. My daughter came home with one of those forms for us to sign, and we refused to sign it. We didn't want her seeing the counsellor. We tried to give her all the counselling she needs at home, but then we found out the counsellor's been talking to her anyway. What's your daughter's name? Asked the principal. Colleen Verigold. Carla admitted that she had seen Colleen without her parents' permission. Colleen came to my office very upset and she said she had to talk to me. She said it was an emergency. What kind of an emergency? Asked the school board president. It was something very personal, said Carla. Well, what was it? Asked the school board president. I'm sorry, said Carla, but I never repeat anything a child tells me. She knew Colleen wouldn't want everybody to know she'd gone into the boys' bathroom. You're not supposed to see a child without their parents' permission, said the school board president. Now, if it was an emergency, then you might have been justified. We have to know the nature of the emergency. I'm sorry, said Carla. You can tell me, said Mrs. Verigold. I'm her mother. If there was an emergency, don't you think I should know about it? Ask Colleen. If she wants to tell you, then she will. I can't break my promise to her. But Colleen's just a child, said a member of the school board. You don't have to keep promises to children. I do, said Carla. She's been trying to make her change religions, said Colleen's mother. Colleen came home from school and announced she didn't want to be a Catholic anymore. She wants to be a Zen monk. Carla laughed, though she knew that was a mistake. She tried to explain about saying hello back to someone who says hello to you, but nobody seemed to understand what that had to do with being a Zen monk. You're not allowed to teach religion in public schools, said the president of the school board. And you weren't even supposed to talk to her child in the first place. He apologised to Colleen's mother and assured her that it wouldn't happen again. The woman from the front row raised her hand. I never had a counsellor when I went to school, she said. I don't understand what they do exactly. Why don't you explain to the parents what you do and how you help different children, the principal suggested. Mostly, I just talk with them, said Carla. I listen to their problems, but I never tell them what to do. I try to help them learn to think for themselves. But isn't that what school is for? Asked the woman. To tell kids what to think? I believe it's more important to teach them how to think instead of what to think, said Carla. But if they do something bad, don't you tell them it's wrong? Asked the man sitting next to her. No, said Carla. I think it's much better if they figure that out for themselves. What if there was a boy who bit his teacher? Asked the father. What? Carla exclaimed. Wouldn't you tell him not to bite her? He asked. No, but I talked to him about it and try and find out why he bit her. But what if he keeps on biting her? Asked the man. What if every day he sneaks up behind her and bites her on the butt? Then what would you do? This is getting ridiculous, said Carla. Tell him what you do, said the principal. Carla sighed. I try to help the boy understand the reason he wants to bite his teacher and then help him to reach a conclusion that he shouldn't do it. How long would that take? Asked the woman. I don't know. A month? Possibly. And meanwhile, he keeps biting his teacher, said the first man. She could get seriously hurt. She could die, said another man. How would you feel then? What if the kid had rabies? Someone else shouted. Don't you think he should get rabies shot? That means an injection. I bet you feel differently if he bit you on your butt, asked someone from the back of the room. Everyone began talking at once. What if he bit you? You'd punish him then, wouldn't you? Then you wouldn't wait for him to think for himself, would you? Not if he bit you. What if he bit you? Carla uncrossed her ankles, then crossed them the other way. She looked at the angry group of parents, but had a horrible feeling they all wanted to bite her butt. Funny chapter, that one, isn't it? Being a bit unkind to Carla. Right, chapter 38 then. So I'm going to read this. This is what's on the front of his book, I think. It's set out like that. Okay. So Bradley Chalker's homework, book report, My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lasso, Mrs. Ebble's class, room 12, Red Hill School, last seat, last row, next to Jeff. So the title is My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lasso by Bradley Chalkers. My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant was a very funny and crazy book by Uriah C. Lasso, a funny author, to write such a book. It's a story told by a kid. The kid's parents are in jail because they stole an elephant, except they're innocent. Hey, I just realised something. You know what? You never know the kid's name. I just realised that. You know what else too? You don't know if the kid is a boy or a girl. I just realised that right now as I was writing this book report because I didn't know whether to write he or she. Told you it was crazy. The kid lives with his aunt and uncle. They're crazy too. They put wallpaper up in the garage for no reason. I told you they were crazy. Ace is crazy too. He's a lawyer for the kid's parents. He makes the kid practice crying for a good hour every day so the kid will be able to cry well in court. Only when the kid finally gets to court, he doesn't cry. He laughs. Then everybody else laughs too. Then the kid's parents get to go home because they're innocent. Except, do you want to know something? I'm not so sure. I mean, if they really were innocent, then who ate all the peanuts? Told you it was crazy. The end. Absolutely wonderful, said Carla. Is it good? Asked Bradley. You captured the very essence of the book. He smiled, even though he didn't know what essence meant. They were sitting around the round table. It was Thursday before school. Bradley had to turn in his book report to Mrs. Ebble, but he wanted Carla to see it first, in case he ripped it up. Carla was wearing a fluffy pink sweater. I always wondered what happened to the peanuts too, she said. Me too, said Bradley. And they could have hid the elephant in the garage. That's why they put wallpaper there, to cover up the fingerprints. Do elephants have fingerprints? Asked Carla. Maybe they have trunk prints, he laughed. Well, I have to go to Mrs. Ebble's class. Here's your book back. Thank you. I didn't write on it or spill food on it or anything. I'd like for you to keep it, said Carla. It's my present to you. But I thought it was one of your favourite books. It is, and that's why I want to give it to you. If I didn't like it, then it wouldn't be much of a present, would it? He smiled. I wish I had a present to give you, he said. You have already gave me one. I did. What was it? The book report. The smile left his face. What's the matter? Well, I'm supposed to give it to Mrs. Ebel, but that's okay, you can have it. It wouldn't be much of a present if I didn't want it to. Carla laughed and shook her head. That's very sweet, Bradley, but that's not what I meant. I meant for you to give it to Mrs. Ebel. It just makes me very happy that you did such a wonderful job. That's the present that you gave me. Really? Really, said Carla. It was the best present I could have gotten. He thought that was great. He was able to give it to Carla and still give it to Mrs. Ebel. What's wrong? Carla wiped her eyes. The corners of her mouth trembled. Are you crying? He asked. Bradley, I have something to tell you, she said. I hope you can listen to what I have to say without feeling scared or upset. He suddenly felt scared and upset. Tomorrow will be my last day here at Red Hill School. Huh? That's why I'm so glad you've written such a wonderful book report. I know you can continue to do good work without me, and I'm very proud of you. You're leaving? She nodded. I've been transferred. I'll be teaching kindergarten at Willow Bend School, but I want to thank you, Bradley. You've made my short time here very special. I'm so glad we got to know each other. You're leaving? We can still see each other, she said. Saturday He shook his head. No, you can't go. It's not fair. I have to. He couldn't believe it. What if I don't do my homework? Then you'll have to stay and make me want to do it again. She smiled warmly at him. Her blue eyes glistened. You're on your own now, Bradley. I know you'll do wonderfully. No, it's not fair. He stood up. You tricked me. Carla stood too. She walked round the table toward him. I hate you, he shouted in her face. I know you don't mean that. Yes, I do, and I hate your stupid book too. He picked up My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant and threw it at her. Then he picked up his book report. Bradley, please. He ripped it in half. He stretched his mouth so wide it was hard to tell whether it was a smile or a frown. He tore his book report again and dropped the pieces on the floor. I hate you, he shouted, and then ran out of her office. He ran to the boys' bathroom. He leaned over the sink and cried. His face throbbed as he watched the water wash down the drain. There was a knock on the bathroom door. Bradley, said Carla, are you all right? Go away, he yelled. I hate you. The door slowly opened and she stepped inside. You're not allowed in here, he said. I think it's important that we talk, said Carla. That's how friends handle their problems, by talking about them. That's why we've become such good friends, because we've learnt to talk to each other. I'm not your friend. Why would I want to be friends with you? I hate you. I like you, Bradley. I can like you, can't I? You don't have to like me. I'm not going to Colleen's birthday party, he said, and I don't like Jeff either, and I'm never going to do my homework ever, and I'm going to fail all of my tests. Do you want to know what I think? I think you're worried that now I'm leaving, everything will turn bad again. You think that Jeff won't like you anymore and Colleen won't want you to come to her party and Mrs. Ebel will give you bad grades no matter how hard you try. This is the boys' bathroom. But it wasn't me who magically changed your life, Bradley, she said. It was you. You're not Cinderella and I'm not Prince Charming. You're not allowed in here, he said coldly. Saturday, I'm going to need someone to help me move all of my things out of my office, she said. I'd appreciate it very much if you'd come and help me. Then afterwards we could have lunch together. We can go to a restaurant, just the two of us. He wanted to go to her, to hug her in a soft pink sweater, but he couldn't. He felt like his insides were being ripped apart. It'll be lots of fun, said Carla, and it would be a great help to me. I have to use the toilet. Maybe I'll see you on Saturday, said Carla. I would like that very much. She turned and walked out the door. Bradley stayed in the bathroom until the bell rang, and then he went home, sick. Poor Bradley. Feel a bit sorry for him, really, but he shouldn't be being that rude to Carla. Hopefully they manage to sort it out. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend. I hope you're all well. What was I going to say? It is Captain Tom's 100th birthday today, but he's just been, kind of given a bit of a... What word am I looking for? I don't know. He's now become Colonel Tom. That's what I'm trying to say. So, if you haven't wished him a happy birthday, wish him a happy birthday. It's been all over the news this morning, and he's now raised over £30 million for the NHS and for people in need at the moment. So how fantastic is that? What an inspiration to us all. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye.